Welcome back to the Hiding for Horrors podcast, where we review horror movies and horror movie franchises. I'm Mark,
I'm Tawan.
Maria.
and today we're reviewing Child's Play from 2019, the remake of the original, written by Tyler Burton Smith and directed by Lars Klavberg. Man. But before we get into that, Tawan, can you give him a plot summary?
Sure. After moving to a new city, young Andy Barkley receives a special present from his mother, a seemingly innocent buddy doll that becomes his best friend. When the doll suddenly takes a life of its own, Andy unites with other neighborhood children to stop the sinister toy from wreaking bloody havoc.
So, Child's Play 2019. I have to go on record to say I'm automatically biased against remakes. I don't like remakes, that's just me. But what about you guys? This is actually the first remake that we reviewed on the podcast. So, what do you guys think about remakes overall? Are you for? Are you against? Maria?
I don't like them. I feel like they usually drop the ball on remakes because they usually try very hard to be different and very into like the times, the modern times that it tends to get lost or like the remake just becomes comedic or something. So I didn't really like this one.
Tuan?
When it comes to remakes, I'm kind of like nuanced on it. Like I do like remakes, if they are good and live up to like some like the source material that was given. Because to me, depending on how they go about it, I just see it as another interpretation or adaptation of something that already like has existed. Which we recycle the same stories anyway and storylines. So I mean, it's not like if we want to be like at the base level, so many things are remix. It's just under like different like coats of paint. So it really depends, like how they go about it. Like yeah, there are bad remakes, but there are some good remakes out there. Like I personally like the Friday the 13th remake because Jason was a complete menace in that movie. Um, Also ones like say like The Ring 2002, that was a good one. And the latest Invisible Man movie, that was a remake of a story and a different twist, so that was good as well.
I mean, well, The Invisible Man is kind of different. It was just a different adaptation of the source material. So that I don't really count as a remake to the original movie. It's just a newer adaptation of that old ass book, which
But
I
I mean,
have
it's
to read
still a
at some
remake
point.
though, because it was a movie, and like it's a remake on the story. It's just different like interpretation of it.
But if it is it a remake if they're just adapting a book but like differently?
I mean, I guess
What
because
is
I mean, if we're going off they're going off the movies, but also like the source material at the same time. So it's kind of a thing. It's kind of like is like you I don't know another thing to say it off of, but I mean, it still is in a
I
sense
get
like
what
a
you're saying
remake.
though. I get what you're saying, but I don't like remakes. I hated remakes since Halloween 2007. That was that was the first time I was like, "Oh, this is bad. This is bad." I'm like, "I hope they don't ever do this again." But I was the only person who didn't realize at the time that the whole decade of the 2000s was just one horror remake after the other, from like Texas Chainsaw, House of Wax, whatever the fuck that Nightmare on Elm Street movie was. Like, it was bad. But no, I went into this movie thinking, it can't be that bad. They have Mark Hamill. I love Mark Hamill from Star Wars, from him voicing the Joker on the Batman show. Like, I enjoyed Mark Hamill, and then they dropped the promotional photo for the Buddy doll, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" Like, am I the only one who thinks that Chucky looks like he had really, really bad plastic surgery? It's given Madonna mixed with Dolly Parton, and I don't like it. No, but overall, what you guys think of this new take? I mean, this is the first Chucky movie, but it doesn't have any involvement with the creator Don Mancini. What do you guys think overall? Tuan?
Um, I don't want to say I really like this movie, but I don't think that it's like a complete like mess. But as far as like the remakes go, like this one particularly left a bad taste on it. Just considering that the original storyline is literally still going on. So it was one of those movies where I was like, this is kind of irrelevant, but I'm gonna watch it because I just want to see how it plays out. So I went to see it, and like I I was just like indifferent on it. I was like, yeah, that was a movie, and I didn't really like care for like much of what was going on here inside of like this universe, but I will say the at least the main three actors, Aubrey Plaza, love her, and Brian Terry Henry, who was Mike Norris, love him as well. I thought like them, and then the new Andy, he was a little annoying, but he was okay. At least the three of them, they kind of made the movie better because I like those two actresses out of the two actors out of the three of them, so they made it a bit better in terms of like enjoyment of the movie and whatnot. And I also did like the music in this movie. I actually did listen to the score for this movie because it was actually pretty good. So that was another good thing. And they also kept with doing a good amount of like practical effects. Even though when I did look at behind the scenes for this stuff, some of the stuff that I thought was practical and there was no actual doll there with CGI, it was kind of crazy because there were some scenes where I thought the doll was actually there and it was just completely CGI and that kid was talking to nothing.
I love Audrey Plaza. She was one of the bright spots in this movie. Actually, the cast is great. My only complaint about the cast is that like in the first movie, little Andy was like so adorable and so cute, and you wanted to protect him. In this movie, Andy was one of those like kids. You're just like, this fucking kid has to go. Like this fucking kid's annoying. Where's his parent? Can someone get him already? Like actually, all the kids in this movie were annoying as shit. Like they
That is
were.
true. Those friends, especially that brother and sister, I think they annoyed the fuck out of me. I can't even lie. I hated
Yes.
them in this movie. They were so annoying, especially the
And
brother of the sister.
why did that black kid want the doll? See, no, see, my bias is short because as a black kid want no doll. What was?
It was
What
like
about
a
you,
cool
Maria?
thing.
Oh, for one, I don't. So the doll, first of all, looks creepy as hell. Like at least in the first Chucky movie, the doll looked okay, but like in this one, it looks so creepy. Like in general as a fucking doll. Um, but I mean, I do agree with what Rudy said about, how he was like practically like an iPhone and he was controlling everything, it's like controlling all the technology around him because it was all like Castellan, I think. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought that idea was pretty cool. Um, I did not like the cast. I didn't really like anybody besides Chucky. I thought I don't know. I kind of really liked this Chucky. Um, the movie itself, as a standalone movie, like if I had not watched any of the other Chucky movies and I watched this one, I would have been like, okay, it's a pretty good movie. It's okay, it's a fun idea. But with watching all the other Chucky movies and seeing Chucky, first of all, cursed because he's a serial killer, and seeing him do all this shit compared to this Chucky who started off as an innocent doll, I guess at first. Um, it was just kind of weird to see that. Like it was an interesting take, but I don't know, like you get so used to like this other Chucky that's out here murdering people and like killing people and making jokes and like saying shit to people to just be this doll who started off innocently and was made into a killer doll.
Hmm.
That dilemma, I don't know, it was weird to me, I guess.
With all my complaints about how the voodoo was very inconsistent after the third Child's Play movie, I kind of prefer that over some disgruntled worker fucking with a chip, and that chip is the cause of the doll going crazy and the net worker killing himself.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of dumb. Like, first of
Right?
all, like, so you're mad, so you're, and it's okay. I thought it was so stupid because because he was mad, he literally just changed the settings to this one doll, and that's it. Like
Like you
it
should have
didn't do
changed the settings
anything.
to several. Like
Yeah, or he could have just blown the shit up. I don't know. Like it's just so stupid. Like you're mad in this little instant, so you're just gonna change all the settings to this one doll, and it's gonna be recalled because you changed the settings, and that's it. Like nothing's gonna change. You're not getting
and
back
then
at
you
your boss.
and then you killed yourself, and there's still no payoff for you. I'm like the voodoo makes more sense to that. The voodoo, it, I don't know.
I just feel like
I
if
It
they
think
were
the chip makes
taking,
more sense. I don't know. Well, like
yeah,
no,
not
yeah,
well,
not the meaning behind him, like doing like okay, I'm gonna change this and then I'm gonna just kill myself. Like that made no sense. Like at that point, I would just disable it and go back to the crib or something. But I mean, I guess like putting in perspective that that type of shit does happen. Obviously, not the chips, but workers like offing themselves in like these overseas like factories to the point where they have to put like suicide protection nets. That is kind of truthful.
yeah, but I don't know. I just feel like if they were gonna take the technology route, I just wish they would have done something else. Like I like the idea itself was cool, but the way it started was just kind of dumb.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, what they used to make Chucky go bad. Cause I wanted to know more about like what did he exactly do? Like it had to be. I wanted more to happen. I was expecting some Skynet type shit. That's what I was expecting. That's what I was
I
hoping
mean that's
for.
kind of what we got towards the end a bit.
But the way it started is the issue. It didn't start off strong enough for me.
I get it.
That was my issue. Yeah. But besides that, you guys want to talk about some of the scenes you guys liked or disliked. Now, I to start, I'll have to say the whole ending store scene is actually my favorite part of this movie. Where he made all the toys come alive. You got the murderous teddy bear. There's cars flying around. There's all these different Chucky dolls. He's controlling cameras and shit. That
Yeah,
was pretty wild. I mean, it was definitely a commentary on on Apple and companies who have all these different products that communicate with each other and how that can end really badly. And I dug it. That was one of my favorite scenes. My other favorite scene mm, is when he killed the killed Karen's boyfriend and
oh my god.
turned him into a fucking pumpkin. That scene was actually pretty fucking hilarious. That was insane. But what about you guys? What are scenes that you guys liked, disliked, enjoyed, kind of dealt with? You can go, Maria. What are some scenes you liked or disliked?
Um, well, I also did like the ending. I thought that scene looked cool. I like the effects. I like the bear whose eyes were suddenly red. Um, I liked it. Um, but I mean, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm pretty sure that like those drones don't hurt people the way they were making it seem like it hurt people, but whatever. I guess,
I
I guess.
I thought that Chucky like attached blades to them.
Did he?
Yes,
Wait, they had blades on the drones. I don't
I
remember that.
thought that's what that was. Because it looked like
Oh,
they had blades on them. Because I'm like, well, if not, they're not that sharp. They're plastic in real life.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, no way, these people are falling over because because of these plastic blades. But I don't know. I guess he did. Um, I also I don't know why, but I really like the scene when he's like in the head of the guy. He stabs him in the neck, and he's just like walking around, and everybody's just waiting for him to do his little thing, and then he just
Yes.
takes off. If first of all he kneels in front of this little girl, takes off his head, and literally bleeds all over her. I thought that was crazy. Um, I really like the scene also when he kills the boyfriend. I think his name was Ben. I forgot what his name was, but like,
why is
I-
he kicking him out? Oh,
but I
go
just
ahead.
thought. But I just thought it was so cool because he literally gets up off the bed, you know, he walks towards wherever the fuck he's going, and then you see the head, and you're like, what the fuck? And then he just walks away, and he
For
comes
real.
back, and he's like, what? He was like, oh my God. Um, I did not like this Andy. Like, I really hated the scene where like the boyfriend pushed him, and then like Andy just starts crying and doing the little thing he does, and I was like, shut up. I don't know. I just thought I don't know, I did not like that little scene. Um, what else? Um, I think that's it actually. I think that's all I got.
Tawan.
Um, I think one of my favorite scenes was when Chucky killed fake Jack Black, just because he deserved it for being a creep. Like,
He was definitely a fake Jack Black.
I thought it was Jack Black. I'm not even gonna lie to you. When I first saw him, I was like, "Oh shit, is that
I
Jack
did,
Black?"
me too.
Then I was like, "Wait, that's not Jack Black." But he literally looks just like him. But I did like that scene because yeah, he Chucky, yeah, he definitely could have offed him because that dude was being very weird, and then had like fucking cameras in everybody's crib. Like that's like beyond or whatever. But so I did like that scene because yeah, that guy needed to go for being a creep. Now, one scene I didn't like is when Chucky killed Mike's. Was that his mom or his grandma? The
His
detective.
mom.
Yeah, when
His
he killed his
mom.
mom, cause like, what mama do? She didn't even do nothing. She was trying to go to bingo night.
She said she was Andy's best friend.
Yeah, I know, but like she didn't do nothing though. But we know, like they just got rid of her because fucking Chucky was being possessive and everything, which I guess
Chucky's
was
insecure.
yeah, which I guess was a decent change because we know in like the original ones, like the Chucky doll was just saying he was Andy's friend, but he was trying to actually fucking like possess Andy and put his soul into Andy's body. Whereas this one, because it's a computer and an AI, the AI was told you have to be this person's friend, and anyone else stepping in on that is an enemy or an op. So the Chucky doll hearing that instantly put him in that mood. But it just I felt so bad for her because that was like her first time using like the Uber app in their universe, and use one of the self driving cars after she told Mike that she never wanted to. So the first time she did that and stepped out, like she just gets killed in the process. But it's also a not a not like a good scene, but um, it's also kind of funny because that's like one of those like future things that we're getting now, like self-driving cars, and then apps that will have cars that pick you up in the future, and that's definitely one of
I
those
don't
things
trust it. I don't
that
trust it.
yeah, that's definitely one of those things that will be here in the future, and depending on the company or whoever, definitely will not be
If
trusting
it's
that.
Apple, I trust it.
If I don't care who the fuck, to be honest with you, like I don't know if you ever seen what was that? What was this movie? Um, Upgrade. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but there's a
Yep, I
liter.
have.
Yeah,
I
I'm
have.
gonna be like that character. I'm gonna still be driving my own whip while these self driving cars on the road.
Hey, if it's Apple, I'm down. But then again, they say Apple might be the secret Skynet, so you never know. You never know. But let's talk about some of these characters. Well, I should say the one scene I didn't like was that it's that stupid scene. I think when he when Andy finds the dead cat, I feel like there should have been more of a reaction than it was. It was kind of lackluster.
Hmm.
Like it wasn't like you just found your cat dead and you're pretty sure your crazy ass doll did it, but you have like no reaction to this whatsoever. I was like, huh, okay,
That's true, but also like even if you
that's what
was
we're
to say
doing.
that,
But
they gonna be like, "Oh, you killed that cat."
yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But let's talk about some of the characters. Let's start with Karen. this time around played by Aubrey Plaza. I like this version of Karen. It was more modern take on the character. She definitely fit the role. It wasn't what the original Karen was. We didn't really get to know that much about OG Karen's like life outside of like Andy. But this time, we got to see Karen like flirt. She had a little boyfriend. She was getting some. I was happy for this Karen. She was getting some action. Maria.
I didn't really like this Karen. I'm still stuck on the OG Karen. Um, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just did not really like her. I guess I don't know if maybe I was just comparing her too much to the OG Karen. Because OG Karen was doing everything for her son, and this Karen was just kind of. Though I do agree that like her reaction, I feel like was normal as for a mom's reaction, but like I don't know. I miss OG Karen. And that's kind of what I was expecting to see, really. But I mean, she was funny, but I did not like the boyfriend. I don't know why she kept him around, knowing full well that her son did not like this man. And I guess that's what bothered
I
me the most about
mean,
it.
we don't know what the boyfriend was packing or how he was putting it down.
So,
I'm
He might have been
crying.
rocking her world. So you
okay,
got.
but the kid would literally spend hours outside because he did not want to be in the same room with this guy. Like, that's not a huge red flag to
I
you?
mean, hours
No,
outside. That means the boyfriend spend hours inside. If you know what I mean.
look,
So
all I'm saying is I'm pretty sure she can find something similar, someone who's packing the same, who's a better person. I'm just saying.
Pro- probably.
He was plus well, whatever. He's something else, but she was okay. I miss OG Karen.
Tuan.
Yeah, same as Rudy. I do love Aubrey Plaza, and I did like her in the role. Like she was one of the reasons I did want to see this as well, just because she's like pretty funny and whatnot, and she had like some of those like her dry humor like jokes throughout the movie, but didn't they were not really as much as I was thinking would have been in here. Now I do agree with Maria. She should have dumped Buddy. Like he wasn't even cute. Like come on now. Shane was I think that was his name. His name was
Right? He
Shane.
wasn't even cute. He was not.
Shane was like he was just there. Like what was he like? She could have did so much, and he had a whole family. Like did she know that part that he was married or no? Or was
I think she did. I don't think it was made clear she knew or not.
No, I don't. No, I don't think she did because when he died, she was like, "Oh my God! Like I can't believe it. I can't believe like he lied. Like it was like it was.
okay?
She was
Yeah.
shocked. Yeah, that he had
Okay.
another family.
Okay,
Well then, yeah,
I missed
like
that part.
yeah, dude was like he wasn't that good looking, and he's treating your son like shit. So, like, he could have just got rid of him and found somebody else. Like, you're in Chicago, like I don't know, get on Tinder. But I did like but I did like her portrayal of the character. Now, um, there was a point I was about to make, and it just like went right past my mind. Yeah, that's gone now. So I'm just gonna say I did like her portrayal of the character. It wasn't as better as like original Karen, but she still loved her son and was willing to get him something that he didn't want, which in this case was the Buddy doll, and try to get him something for his birthday. And she was like, same way she was working at like I think OG Karen was working at like it was like a Macy's or something, and this one was just working at like the version of like an Apple store almost.
It was basically like a Target's technology department.
No, actually, yeah, Best Buy basically. she's working at
Yeah.
she's at Best Buy.
Well, let's move on to Andy. What'd you guys think of Andy, Tuan?
So this Andy was he was annoying me at points. Like at the beginning when he first got the doll, he wasn't too excited, which obviously for his age, if I was to like he was like 13, 14 ish kind of. So I could see why he gets the buddy doll. He's like, this is for kids because it does look like it's for kids. I feel like at that point, you wouldn't need the buddy doll to have like be like have like a connection to um like the outside world, like how like you have an iPad or something. I feel like at that point you would have like a phone or anything like that beyond that point. But um at the beginning when he first got it, he was like playing around with it. It was like really cute and everything. But like him getting like concerned as things like kind of started to go on. Was like kind of nice to see, but it was just once he started hanging out with those kids, like his character like fell down right with the rest of them. Like they all became annoying. Like when he started hanging around with them, like I liked his interactions he had with Mike, the detective, and everything like that. And when he was like hanging with his like like his mom, like eating dinner and everything, like that was nice. But once he started hanging out with the actual kids, and he brought that subplot of the kid like taking a doll and everything, it like his character, like Andy's character, fell with like the rest of them, and it felt like he was like just super annoying by that point. Also, I just didn't feel like his acting was that good. Like he kind of suffers from what the kid in the TV show does. Is like they have these weird faces that they make to like show like terror or like when they're mad, and their facial expressions look
The
so
facial
off.
expressions are like wild,
Yeah,
and me rewatching this, I picked up on this. I'm like that's what that kid does in the Chucky show. Like his like the eye movements and the eyebrows. I'm like, calm it down, just like
yeah. Like the
calm your
facial
face.
expressions were like they were a little wild, but um, yeah, I didn't really I didn't care for him that much though. That's the thing. Like even like he wasn't that good, but he wasn't like super bad either. Like we have replacement Andy in Child's Play 3. Like I was fine with it, but it wasn't. It was serviceable. I guess.
Yeah, Andy was like 11 years old and being an angsty teenager. I'm like, what? What does this 11-year-old have to be so angsty about? I was like what? Yeah, like what the fuck is? And then, the friends made it. Like, I was gonna like pick out the friends so we could talk about them, but then I realized that all the friend characters were pretty much all the
No,
same.
literally.
They were all just like different shades of the same asshole kid. And then once Andy started hanging out with them, he became that. And I was like, what's happening? I'm like, this is why Andy in original didn't have any friends because there wasn't needed. Like the whole point was he was best buddies with Chucky because he didn't have anyone else. But now Andy has these assholes he's hanging out with, and Andy became an asshole. And then Chuck and I was like, you know what, Chucky, just take them all out. Andy too, kill everybody at this point because they're all pissing me off. Fuck these kids. What about you, Maria?
Well, I agree. Fuck these kids. But like, honestly, he didn't stand up. He didn't stand out to me like at all. Like he was just kind of like a regular kid dealing with a killer doll. You know, like his character wasn't much. He was just literally playing. He was just reacting to what Chucky was doing to him, but he wasn't. I don't know. He just wasn't OG Andy. You know, like I feel like OG Andy had more like, he was a little kid and he was trying to, deal with the fact that, there was this doll telling him to do all these things. Whereas like this Andy was just kind of more like, I don't know, he just wasn't much, Like he was just, to be honest, his character was kind of just bland. He was just a regular kid who just got this killer doll, but like the focus was more on the doll, I feel, than it was on Andy. I don't know, he just didn't really stick out to me in the film. Um, I guess he seemed very like impressionable, I guess, because in the beginning, yeah, he was like he didn't really want the doll, he was sad or whatever, and then he got the doll, and then he kind of warmed up to the doll as the doll was, being friendly to him and nice to him. And then once he became friends with all these other kids, then he basically turned like these other kids. And I think it wasn't until kind of like closer to the end where he started to actually think for himself, and he was like, I gotta kill this doll. I have to save my mom, and this doll's dangerous, and I have to save people. But I don't know. I didn't really like this Andy. He was just kind of there, to be honest.
Yes, I think the difference was by the end of the movie, by the end of the original movie, Andy was on his own. They had taken him away from his mom. He was isolated. He knew Chucky was trying to kill him. Like he escaped from that mental hospital to like get to his mom so they could like beat Chucky's ass together. But in this one, Andy never felt isolated. I mean, yeah, they had that one scene where all his friends like turned his back on him. But then like two scenes later, they were all back and like teaming up to like take him down at the at the Target place, Target type store.
Yeah, I think it
So
was
I think
called
that's what was missing
Zenmart
for
or
me.
something.
Yeah, Zenmar. Like I feel like it was at no point where I felt like Chucky had Andy isolated like he did in the original movie, which made Andy like spring into action. But whatever. But what about Mike? They made Mike black this time. I kind of like this actor. But what did you guys think? Maria?
I actually liked Mike. I thought he was funny. Um,
He was.
he was like the comedy, because like instead of it being Chucky, who's the comedic relief, it's Mike. But okay, what I don't get though is why would they let poor Mike, like after his mom died, he went over and they had him like pull the cover off for her. Like, why would they do that? Like, I don't know. I felt so bad for him. And then he was like, I guess the lead investigator in her death. But I mean, that wouldn't work. I don't know. But I felt bad for Mike, because I understand why he arrested Andy in the first place because he literally saw, like basically the guy's head in his mom's apartment. Um, but I liked how at the end, he saved them from Chucky. Um, I liked him. He was a really really likable character.
Tuan.
Yeah, I also did like Mike in the movie, and I do like his actor as well. I watched the show Atlanta; he's like great in there, and also some other things that I've seen him in. Like he's always been pretty good. So, um, just like Plaza, another reason why I saw this movie because I just wanted to see like how he was gonna do in it. So, yeah, I really did like him in here, and I like this little portrayal of him and how him and Andy kind of had like a little playful relationship since Andy like was new to the building had no friends at that point or nobody to even talk to, and even getting introducing him to like his mom and stuff, like that was nice, and then having dinner and all that type of stuff, so that was cool. So I thought like Mike was a good character, and the little because of that little relationship that he built up with Andy, like he had like some doubts of like even like the stuff was like happening by Andy, like if this was his fault and most some of these things. So that was like a good little angle compared to the other Mike, who he was just thrown onto this case because like someone died in the apartment, like with Andy's like mom's apartment and everything. So um that was a good little angle to throw with it. And yeah, I do agree with Maria. Like he has some like good little funny bits in there as well. But yeah, I don't think I have anything bad to say about his character though. He was one of the better parts for me.
What about Doreen, Mike's mom? Maria.
She was funny, and I liked her as development for Mike. Her scene where she dies was so sad. I was like, oh my god, because she was just going to bingo. She was just trying to have some fun, going out by herself. She just used this new app to get this car to pick her up, just for her to die. Um, but that scene itself, I think, was kind of funny. I forgot what she said to Chucky, but it was funny to me. I forgot what it was. But yeah, I mean, I liked her. She was funny. Like literally, the only thing she did wrong was tell Andy that he was her best friend. I was like, oh my god, no.
Tuan.
Yeah, I agree with what Maria's saying. Yeah, she was like really sweet, and like glad they also like had her in there for some character development for Mike, since like like we all kind of mentioned, we didn't really see much of. like any character development from like in the first one outside of him being a detective on the case and he's a cop, he's gonna solve it, even though he waited to the last minute and didn't believe anything till then, which is fair because if I was a police detective and someone told me a doll was killing people, I would also very much question their sanity. Um, but yeah, I liked her character and the little relationship she had with Andy, and it was it was a nice comparison to those fucking kids. Because I mean, like honestly, I would rather Andy be with anyone in this movie compared to them kids because they were just. It was just fuck them kids. They were annoying, and I know we keep saying that, but it's just like they. I think they were trying to like sell us on like 'cause I think I saw this mentioned in a video I was watching on this movie. Like, it came out like 2019 when the It remakes and then Stranger Things type shit, and they were trying to like get in on that. But the thing about those kids and the like Stranger Things and like the It movie, they had chemistry and they also weren't annoying. They felt like kids but weren't like annoying to you as well, and that's what added to these. So any relationship that Andy had with someone that wasn't them was better than them. So I liked it, and I was also sad about her death, but also like the way they even did her death scene was like weird, like the way like the little jump scare they did when like Chucky was like on the radio, like he was like Doreen or whatever, and then like came out and like stabbed her or whatnot. That was a little whack, but as far as like the actors that portrayed the character and then the character itself, it was nice. She seemed sweet.
Yeah, I didn't. Them it once they showed his mom, I was like, oh, she's gonna die. Like I knew it like right away. I was like, damn, she's nice, she's sweet, she's a sweet old lady. She's gonna get it, and she got it. And I was like, this is so bad. She was just like some nice lady who was being friendly to the weird kid down the hall. This is what black folks don't make friends with each other. This is why black folks mind their business. Like we don't gotta be friends with our neighbors. For what? For what? We be friends with our neighbors, we die. That's why we mind our business, Tawan. We don't get involved. Leave them weird people alone that's down the hall. Ugh. But let's talk about the broken Chucky doll. I love Mark Hamill, but his voice wasn't a fit for this. It it gave me, I don't know, like the face with the voice with the weird smile, like the plastic surgery face with the smile. I feel like his the Chucky doll's head was too big for his body. It made me uncomfortable to look at, which I guess was the point. But like, why would anyone want that fucking doll? Like that's another. Like now the one doll, like the teddy bear, that looked cool. I would have taken that, but not the fucking Buddy doll. That thing looks like creepy. I wouldn't give to one.
um, how do I feel about the damn Chucky doll? I'm mixed on like the look of the Chucky doll. I do agree that if I was a parent, I would if my kid wanted the doll, I would look at it and be like, I'm not buying that shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like it was like it was just a no for me. Which is funny you mentioned Mark. You mentioned the bear doll because I think if I saw like an article like back when this movie came out, if it was to get a sequel, that's the doll that the director would have focused on. So that's so funny you mentioned that.
Yeah, I saw that too.
But yeah, the doll looks creepy, and I wouldn't want it walking around my house, being connected to the Wi-Fi, able to control everything in the crib. Even though like these Google Home speakers that I got in the crib and all that shit can do that, it's not walking around and pointing at shit and doing that. So, especially since it basically just like imprints on your child, like it imprints on your child and does like whatever you like want it like does whatever your child wants it to do. That's a bit weird, um, like to me. So I wasn't really feeling that if I was in like the universe of this movie. But just the way the look of the doll. is close enough to be similar to Chucky, but not close enough for them to get sued for it, I guess. And which I feel is what they were going for, because they had to give like some type of brand recognition to people who have seen Chucky or Child's Play for them to be like, oh wait, I remember that. This is the remake of that type of thing that I haven't seen in a while, even though like the original is still going on. But most people who probably aren't fans or anything wouldn't know that. So it's a way to like get close as they could without, I guess, getting sued over it, which I guess is the reason why it looks the way it does. But it just looks like it looks really puffy in the face, which is what I thought was weird. Like it looks like it got like um an allergic reaction or something. His face is swelling. Um, so yeah, I didn't really care for the way it looks. Um, I was okay with Mark Hamill's voice for the doll personally. Like nothing's gonna beat Brad Dourif's voice work for Chucky, but at least for what we got here, I was fine with Mark Hamill's voice, just because I guess the doll is supposed to sound um, a little more friendly, which I guess to a child, like if they heard that voice, that would sound friendly to them, and I guess it works for the movie. And yeah, aside from that, I don't even know if we can really like speak on like Chucky's intentions, just because it's not like an actual person's intentions, like with the voodoo from the first movies and stuff. Because this was just like a computer chip that was overridden to have all its like barriers turned off. At this point, it's just AI. So, yeah, that's what I think.
Maria.
I kind of like this Chucky. I felt bad for him, you know? Like, he just wanted to be friends with Andy, and Andy was just being a little bitch. Um, I, I mean, his voice, I guess, doesn't really bother me as much. Kind of because to me, this Chucky just had that innocent look. You know, he had that innocent vibe. He was still, you know, because in the beginning, you know, he was learning about, you know, the world around Andy, and I don't know, it just made me feel bad for him, I guess. You know, like they made him into a killer. He didn't do any of that. And I just can't. I don't know. Like I just can't. Like I said earlier, like as a standalone movie, I kind of liked it, and I kind of liked the you know the Chucky doll, and I didn't like Andy. Yeah, I mean, and I kind of like the whole that it was like technology based. I thought that was pretty cool. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I just felt bad for the doll. Like there was times in the movie where I was like, "Oh, not Chucky. Just leave him alone."
All right. Well, we've come to the end of talking about all our characters. Let's talk about some behind the scene facts. Now, this movie had a budget of $10 million and made a box office of $45 million. So, if they wanted to do a sequel to this, they could. They got the money for it. Now, some behind the scene information. Don Mancini was originally approached to be a consultant on the movie, but he didn't like the changes they were making, didn't like the new concept, so he walked away and he decided he was going to continue his version of his vision. So he took it to USA because the production company or distribution company, they own the rights to Child's Play 1, like the movie. But Don Mancini owns everything else. So that's how he's able to still make his vision. But before they even made the Curse of Chucky, they did approach Don Mancini to make a remake himself, and they were either going to have Brad Dourif come back, but that didn't happen. That fell through. And this was supposed to take place around Christmas. I don't was this did this take place around Christmas? I
Yeah, it did.
forget. Okay, yeah, it did. It did. Oh yeah, that's right. Because that he was, even though his face was made into a jack o' lantern, it still had like Christmas lights around it.
Yeah.
Mm. This movie has a 64% on Rotten Tomatoes. Um, the Critical Conscious site says Child's Play is an update of an 80s horror icon for the internet age, with predictably gruesome and generally entertaining results. RobertEbert.com gave the movie a 3 out of 4 stars, calling it nastier, more playful, and just as good, if not better, than the original, which I do not agree with. So we've come to the end. Maria, Tuan, cash or pass on the Child Play remake? Tuan,
Mm, I think I would pass personally on the remake. Um, I, it just like one of those things that I honestly wouldn't come back to. And honestly, since I've seen it, I've never come back to it. Like I saw it in theaters when it came out, just because I was also going to that. It literally came out the same day as Toy Story 4 because I remember seeing both of them in the same day. So the only reason I went to see it is because I was going to see Toy Story 4 later in the day. So I just made like a double feature thing out of it. So I saw that first and then Toy Story. And while I remember a lot about the Toy Story 4 movie, did not remember much about this movie prior to rewatching it for us doing this show. So I would say I would pass on it. It's a bit forgettable, honestly. And then now, because like the show came out and the show has like been really good, it's so easy to forget about this remake as a thing. And even if they did make a sequel, I feel like and because it was like made for so little, they would probably get their money back and everything. But also it's just very inferior to what we have right now with the show, and it's still being in the same continuity as the movie from the '80s. So I would say personally, I would pass.
Maria, do you cash or pass on the Child Play remake?
Honestly, I'd pass. Mostly because as much as I really liked Chucky in this movie, all the other characters just really annoyed me, and I just thought they were kind of dumb and they frustrated me a little bit. So yeah, I'd pass on it.
For me, I pass. I mean, I said at the beginning, I don't like remakes. I'm very biased against remakes. It being a remake automatically puts it in pass, so everything else has to stack up in order for me to be like, yes, I love it. The only way I would buy this movie is if I bought a complete Child's Play box set and this was included, which I don't think it would be. Huh? Would it be? Would they? Is
No,
this?
they
Is
wouldn't.
this? No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't because I think it's
No, I don't
completely
think it
like
would.
it's a completely different distribution company, so they wouldn't do
Hmm.
that. Which, which. So yeah, I would never spend any money. See, I didn't see this in theaters. I waited until it was on some streaming service or something. It came out on something, and I was like, okay, I'll watch it now for free. Yay! So, and I love Aubrey Plaza, and I love Mark Hamill, and it's just the doll was creepy to a point that it wasn't enjoyable, and it lacked personality. It was just like a stale. It was given Terminator, like the Terminator, but like not the Terminator, and didn't have any personality. I was lost. And then the overarching commentary about how we rely too much on technology for all these different things. I'm like, pick a lane and stick to it. Like the voodoo serial killer was simple somehow, and you guys made this like fucked up technology that can control everything into like this overarching story that just did way too much. So I pass. So that's one cash and three
Hmm.
pass. That's our review for Child's Play remake. That's also our final review for the Child's Play franchise. We did it. We got through all 8 movies.
Yes,
Fuck,
sir.
that's a lot. But next week, instead of hopping into another review, we're going to be gathering again to rank all 8 movies from our very first, our number one, which we like the most, to our eighth, which we hate or like the least. So join us next week to listen to our ranking. Goodbye. The Haddonfield Horrors podcast is a Letters to Media production.
Should we do an intro?